What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Christian, and we in here once again. Now, if you haven't already, go ahead and check out the previous video where we change the oil on the S2000 if you're interested in how to do so, or if you're just curious on some tips and tricks that you can apply to your car when you're doing your oil change. So let me show you what we're gonna do before we change the oil. I got my car pretty early. I got it in 2018. When I purchased the SF intake, unfortunately, this was the rendition for before 19 and 2020. So the snorkel that came with it does not fit. You can see here that there is a pretty tight gap to fit a snorkel from this opening right here to where the factory holes are in order to try and achieve the coldest air possible. This is bad because obviously in order for a motor to be efficient in making power, it needs to have the coldest air possible going through the system. Second, having this open without the snorkel, you encounter the issue of your radiator fans, when they turn on, blowing that hot air that is trying to cool to keep the motor at temp straight into the hole or passageway on the SF airbox, and pretty sure it applies to other airboxes as well. Didn't want to digress too much into that, but it's important that you know this so that this way you can try and protect your Subaru, because these motors, yes, they're sensitive in comparison to most, and yes, they don't make as much power or have as much capability as most without investing a lot of money into them. However, having a boxer engine is awesome. Lower center of gravity, the sound is amazing. All you have to do is work on the little things. Air oil separator or catch can, proper intake setup, a more efficient intercooler, and you should be mint with those things. Honestly, that's the next move after this. But going back to the topic of the video, sorry about that. We're gonna be wrapping the outer box in some gold reflective tape. Let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. So we make our way back over here to our table. Let's move our mask out of the way because we're not near anybody. Let's not drop the oil. And let's open this. So now I'll leave the link of this specific tape in the description box below. However, you can essentially tell this is gold reflecting tape. In order to remove the top plate of the hot access port airbox, you're gonna need a 4mm hex socket or Allen key or Allen wrench, however you prefer to call it. We're gonna go ahead and take these off. Don't lose any of this stuff. Always have a little tray, or do what I do, put it on your window cowl. Also, this actually made a pretty good seal. Hey, let me know in the comment section below how you guys feel about working on your car. I know certain things can be a little bit intimidating, but you honestly have to approach this with an open mind. Don't be scared. Yes, you can mess up, and there's nothing wrong with messing up. You know, we're not perfect. Let's see if it's 10. Oof, I'm the man. Let's go. So yeah, 10mm to take off these two bolts that hold the side portion onto the intake. Now cup your hand underneath because we don't like to lose things in the abyss of the engine bay. We've all done it at one point. Then we're gonna go ahead and address this 10mm, which is all the way down here. Let me see if I can get you guys to see. Now for this one, I'm gonna grab an extension. This one should work. Very nice. Going back to, not feeling intimidated by working on your own car, part of that is being prepared. Being prepared is half the battle, right? So if you have a wide variety of tools, there's no job that can potentially be too difficult for you because you always have the right things to approach it with. When I do send these messages, right, and we're having conversations like these that are more, how do I put it, productive for your mind in order for you to become a better individual, I'm not saying this because I think I'm, high and mighty. Don't get it twisted. But I say it because I'm repeating it to myself, believe it or not. When I say these things, I'm repeating everything to myself out loud so that I don't forget. And a byproduct of that is sharing it with you. Okay, there's one more 10mm right over Yeah. But yeah, let me know if you like me having these conversations with you. I know I'm only talking to a camera, but through said camera, I'm speaking to a bunch of people, which I always thought was pretty cool. Unplugging the MAF sensor. Like so. Like so. And then get a flathead, loosen this up, pop this off, and we should be able to take the box out. Come with me. All right, so we went ahead and took the airbox out of the car. This is what it looks like. Whenever you're applying any sort of tape, adhesive, wrap, whatever the case may be, first step is to clean this. So let me go ahead and get some cleaner, and we'll go ahead and get cracking on this. What I am gonna be using is this chemical, guys, glass cleaner. You can pretty much use anything as long as it's not a protectant, right? You don't wanna wipe this with spray wax or anything of that nature, because you're trying to get rid of anything that's on the surface. You don't wanna add layers. You wanna, if anything, take off without damaging the surface, right? So, now another key thing is making sure that it's dry. Obviously, an adhesive can't stick to a surface if it's not a dry surface. The more you take your time with stuff like this, the better the results and the longer they'll last you. You can see here that it is as clean as it's gonna get. Let's go ahead and start applying this. Sorry for my pruny hands, but I've been out here for a while. In this case, I'll just use my license. You use that to kind of smooth it on so you don't get any air bubbles, or at least the least amount possible. It's not gonna come out perfect. Don't get mad at yourself. It's okay. Perfect. So you see, using every inch of this tape. You heard me? Not letting nothing go to waste, if I can help it. I know this is gonna seem super simple, and you're like, yo dude, fast forward this thing. I don't wanna see you laying down each piece of tape. But the last thing I'll mention is whenever you're cutting with any type of box cutter, you wanna always cut away from your body. But when you're cutting towards yourself, God forbid anything slips, that increases the probability of you hurting yourself. And I don't want that, and I'm pretty sure you don't want that either. And make a conscious effort to do so, because thinking of it once and then forgetting about it isn't gonna do you any use. All right, one thing that I quickly wanted to cover. Hey Christian, how do I cover it properly when there's corners like this? I can't fold the tape, it's gonna come out weird, blah, 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 right? Well, what you do is you find the corner, which is right here, and then you make a cut right at that corner. I can't do it right in front of you. Boom. So this is what it should look like. Right? Let me show you. There you go. See how they're all separate now? This makes it way easier for you to actually make a clean crease with tape. If you care, you should take your time. There's no rush. Even from far away, you can't even tell that I cut the tape and creased it over. However, it does look extremely clean, and you don't have to use 700 pieces of tape. When I get closer, then you can actually see. Right? And now check out the other side. The other side literally looks as perfect as it can. I just wanted to go ahead and give you some advice. If you ever get any air pockets like this, take the edge of your razor blade and you kind of dig it in to pop a little hole in the actual material to let the air escape. We finally finished. But before I show you, just wanted to let you know, when it comes to meticulous things like this, I am a little bit OCD. Anyway, check it out. It came out awesome. I even wrapped the inside. Now, I know you see this blue tape right here. We'll get into that in a sec, but let me just show you. I am happy with the results. I had no issues with adhesion with the tape As I mentioned, a lot of it is in the preparation process, so as long as you clean the surface really well and make sure that it's dry, you shouldn't have any issues with the tape sticking. I'll get back to you way later on when it comes to longevity. We'll find out how long this stuff lasts. It's not that expensive. On Amazon, I think it was like $10 a roll. So it's worth it. It's worth a shot, right? We're trying to achieve better intake temperatures. This, the masking tape. Remember earlier, there's that little window that I showed you guys that I said the radiator fan was blowing the hot air directly into. Well, that's this hole right here. Now I'm using masking tape because, as I mentioned, it is an experiment and I want to see if it works first before I commit to using the gold heat reflective tape. We're gonna see if this works. Like I said, it's not something that's permanent. Now I'm gonna bring you over to the car to show you why I'm doing this and why I believe it is okay to do something like this. Don't mind my eyes. I am extremely tired. I've been out here all day, so cut me some slack. Anyway, let's get over to the car. The intake air box essentially goes like so, which means, before I take it away, you see how the whole bottom portion is open? Perfect. Keep that in mind. Now, when we look down here, you can see that it is completely open. The only thing that's there is the fender liner and the under shroud for the car, and the intake filter literally sits right here next to it. Now, I already went ahead and checked underneath this actual frame rail. I wanted to see if the air could potentially cross over from underneath the car. Well, no, it's actually blocked off by a piece of plastic that blocks the air from traveling left or right underneath this frame rail. Since I have the hole covered up, which means that the radiator fan can no longer kick that hot air directly into the box, and the only part that's going to be open is the bottom portion, then I should effectively get much more colder air because, come over here, ready? Boom. You guys see that, right? Remember those holes that everybody and their grandma that did a review on this car said weren't functional? Well, guess where those holes lead to? You guessed it. Right inside the fender liner well. Yes, exactly. So I don't even think I need to say any more after that. You guys already know that cold air will be getting into there via the holes that are open. It should suck in all that cold air. Insert meme here, lol. Anyway, it should get much colder air. So I'm really excited. I dwindled on this as long as I could and thought every possible outcome it should work. Now with the intake box actually in the car, you guys can get a better idea as to what I was talking about. There's literally no other place for the air to go, or rather for the air to enter, besides there. I went ahead off camera and I applied some Chemical Guys Silk Shine on the actual rubber pieces, you know, just to freshen it up a little bit. If you made it this far in the video, I can't thank you enough. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them down in the comment section below. It's pretty simple and should be effective. If you want to see what the final result looks like, you can see super clean. There you go. Awesome. So yeah, this definitely should do a really good job when it comes to helping dissipate, or reflect rather, some of that heat that this engine produces. I am a little bit delirious. It is like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm exhausted. I still didn't get to change the oil on the STI, mainly because, you know, I made sure to be thorough on the S2000, which if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out. And yeah, I wanted to take my time with wrapping the intake box thoroughly. So if you look at every little corner, it is completely covered. Once again, thanks so much for watching, guys. I appreciate you. And don't forget, never stop growing. Peace.